On March 11, 2011, Japan's tsunami warning system underestimated the wave that was coming. A stone tablet on a hillside didn't. No electricity, no signal. Just a warning carved by hand from people speaking to a future they'd never see. It's still standing. The question is whether anyone is still listening. The single stone isn't the whole story. Hundreds of tsunami stones are scattered across Japan's northeastern coast, some placed within the last century, others more than 600 years old. This stretch of coastline, called Sanriku, has been struck by major tsunamis roughly once a generation for over 1,000 years, which is exactly why the stones exist in the first place. Their instructions are almost always the same, stripped down to the plainest language their carvers could manage. Build here or not there. Hand-carved elevation maps drawn by people who had already watched the ocean decide where the safe line was and wanted their descendants to stop guessing. Case 1, 1896 to 1933, Aneyoshi, Japan, the stone that remembered twice. Aneyoshi was destroyed by a tsunami in 1896. Only 2 people survived. The village rebuilt in the same place. In 1933, the sea came back and destroyed it again. This time, only 4 people were left. That's when the survivors made a different choice. They carved a warning into a stone slab and placed it high on the hillside, a warning that names both disasters and gives one instruction. Homes belong above this line, never below it. Then they moved uphill. For good. That stone would be tested twice more. In 1960, a tsunami triggered by an earthquake on the other side of the Pacific in Chile crossed the entire ocean and struck this coast. Aneyoshi, above the line, was untouched. On March 11, 2011, the sea came a third time, and this time it set a record. Along this stretch of coastline, the run-up approached 40 meters, among the highest ever measured in Japan. And yet, it never reached Aneyoshi's stone. By morning, Aneyoshi's 11 households were still standing where the post-1933 village had been built, above the line and untouched. Case 2, 2011, Kesennuma, Japan, the warning that became scenery. Not every stone got Aneyoshi's ending. In the city of Kesennuma, roughly 150 kilometers down the coast, an old marker carried its own instruction. Always be prepared for unexpected tsunamis. Choose life over your possessions and valuables. By 2011, Kesennuma had grown into a busy fishing port, built out toward the very water the stone had warned about. When the wave arrived, it tore fishing boats loose and drove them through buildings and homes. Kesennuma became one of the hardest hit cities on the entire coast. The warning had not disappeared. It had simply become one more familiar object in a city built around the sea. Here's the part that should complicate the story. Japan's tsunami warning system was not primitive, and it did not simply fail. Seismic stations detected the earthquake almost instantly, and the meteorological agency issued a warning within about 3 minutes. The problem was the first estimate. The quake's true size took longer to calculate, so the earliest forecast called for waves of 3 to 6 meters, a fraction of what was actually coming. It took nearly half an hour and data from offshore buoys before the warning was upgraded sharply, though even then the estimate still lagged behind what parts of the coast were about to experience. JMA later acknowledged that the smaller initial forecast may have led some residents to believe existing seawalls would hold, delaying evacuation. Nearly 20,000 people were killed or went missing that day. So, which was more reliable that day, the stone or the system? The honest answer is neither one completely. Researchers later examined 176 tsunami stones across Iwate Prefecture alone. Almost 74% stood above the water the 2011 tsunami reached, evidence that many could still function as rough elevation markers. But not all of them. A few had been placed at heights that turned out to be dangerously optimistic, spots the old warnings marked as safe that the new wave reached anyway. A warning carved in stone doesn't update itself. It only tells you what the danger looked like the last time someone measured it.
Some signals are not meant to be found, but you are still here.
Japan didn't wait for people to rediscover these stones on their own. Starting in 2019, the country's National Mapping Agency began adding natural disaster monuments, including tsunami stones, to its public web maps. A small map symbol on a hillside became a way of making sure this generation's map remembers what one stone in Aneyoshi never forgot. It's a strange kind of technology. No sensors, no software, just a promise kept by whoever chooses to keep reading it. So, is anyone still listening? In Aneyoshi, the answer has stayed the same for more than 90 years, across generations. It's still on that hillside, a little greener than it was in 1933, still marking the same line. It never predicted a tsunami. It simply refused to let anyone forget where the last one stopped. But a stone can only warn you about the disaster it already knows. Other messages from the past were never carved as warnings at all. They were built into structures whose very existence still refuses to fit the story we know. That's where the signal leads next, in ancient structures that should not exist. If your own ancestors had left you one warning in one place, would you still know where to look for it? Lost signal keeps looking. Come find the next one.